When you suddenly go quiet on a woman, something interesting happens. It doesn't matter if you were just texting every day or spending real time together. That sudden silence hits differently. For her, it's not just about you disappearing. It's about what that silence means. And believe it or not, it triggers a reaction that's deeply rooted in how female psychology works. You might think she'll just move on, that she won't notice. But in many cases, the opposite is true. When a man stops talking to a woman out of nowhere, her mind doesn't go blank. It starts racing. She starts asking questions, not out loud, but in her head. What happened? Did she do something wrong? Was he serious about her? Is he trying to play games? This isn't about mind games or manipulation. It's about understanding human behavior. A woman's reaction to a man going silent reveals a lot about her interest, her mindset, and even how she views the connection. Whether she was fully invested or just mildly curious, the way she reacts can tell you more than any conversation ever could. Now, this doesn't mean every woman will react the same way. Some will pull back, some will reach out, some might even get emotional or angry. But all of those responses are signs. They show you where she really stands. And that's what makes this topic important. When you go quiet, it creates space, and how she fills that space tells you everything. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're breaking down what really goes on in a woman's mind when you suddenly stop talking to her. We're going to explore the psychology behind her reactions, the signals to watch for, and how this one move can reveal way more than most guys realize. Let's get into it. 1. She notices fast. When you stop talking to a woman, she notices. And it usually happens quicker than you might think. Even if she's not texting you every hour or acting super interested, the moment your presence drops off, she picks up on it. It's not always about what you say or do. Sometimes it's the silence that gets the loudest reaction. Women are more tuned into emotional shifts than most men realize. If you've been talking regularly, whether it's casual texting, deep conversations, or even light flirting, and then suddenly nothing, that change doesn't just go unnoticed, it hits a nerve. She may not say anything right away, but she feels it. Imagine this. You've been chatting with her for a week or two. The vibe's been good. Nothing too serious, but there's been a flow. You're consistent, maybe even playful. She's replying. Maybe not always with long messages, but she's responding. Then one day, you just stop. No warning, no explanation. You're just gone. At first, she might think you're busy. Maybe you'll text later. A few hours pass. Still nothing. Then a day goes by. That's when her mind starts working overtime. Not because she's overly attached, but because something has changed. And people, especially women, pay attention to changes in behavior. This doesn't mean she's desperate or obsessed. It means she's aware. When you stop talking, it creates a gap. That gap makes her curious, maybe a little confused. She starts replaying your last conversation. Did she say something wrong? Did you lose interest? Was she not giving enough? All those questions start stacking up. And they all come from one thing, you going silent. The crazy part is, even if she wasn't fully invested, your silence still has an effect. Why? Because we're wired to notice when someone who gave us attention suddenly pulls back. It's not about love or obsession. It's about psychology. We notice absence. And when a man stops talking, that absence sends a message, even if he didn't mean to send one. In today's world where everyone's glued to their phones, silence stands out even more. People are used to constant contact. So when that suddenly disappears, it doesn't feel normal. It feels like a signal. And for her, that signal gets processed fast. She might not show it. She might even act like she doesn't care. But inside, she's clocked the silence. And now she's watching. That's how quickly the shift happens. It doesn't take days or weeks. Sometimes, it only takes a few hours. Once she realizes you're not responding, something clicks. She notices. Second, her ego takes a hit. When you stop talking to a woman, one of the first things that gets affected is her ego. This isn't about being arrogant or self-absorbed. It's just human nature. People like to feel wanted, desired, or at least acknowledged. And when that stops, it feels like rejection, even if nothing was ever official between you. Most women are used to being pursued. They're used to guys texting first, checking in, keeping the conversation going. So when a man who was doing that suddenly stops, it doesn't just go unnoticed. It hits a personal nerve. Her first thought might not be sadness or confusion. It might just be, wait, what? It's a hit to her pride. The attention you were giving her played a role in how she felt about herself. It's not everything, but it adds to the feeling that she's attractive or interesting. So when that attention disappears, it can make her question what changed. Even if she wasn't fully into you, the fact that you were into her gave her a kind of confidence. When that disappears, it stings a little. This is especially true if she thought she had the upper hand. Maybe she thought you were more into her than she was into you. Maybe she figured you'd always be the one reaching out. The moment you stop, the power dynamic shifts. And that doesn't sit well with her ego. Now, this doesn't mean she's a bad person or overly self-centered. It just means she's human. Nobody likes to feel replaced or ignored. And when a man who showed interest suddenly disappears, it triggers that feeling, whether she wants to admit it or not. Even women who act confident and independent can feel the sting. Again, it's not about being weak. It's about how people react to changes in attention. When you stop talking, it feels like you're withdrawing approval or interest. That can create a mix of emotions: confusion, annoyance, curiosity, sometimes even frustration. And this is where things start to shift. Her reaction isn't always about you. Sometimes it's about her trying to protect her self-image. She might think, "Why isn't he reaching out?" Or, "I thought I had him figured out." That uncertainty chips away at the picture she had in her head. It's not just about the messages you're not sending. It's about the message that silence sends to her. The ego doesn't like to be challenged. So when your silence makes her feel like she's not in control of the situation, she feels it. And that feeling can lead to all kinds of reactions later on. Some subtle, some obvious. But they all start from that first hit to her pride. 3. The power shift begins. When you stop talking to a woman, the power in the dynamic starts to shift. It doesn't matter if things were casual or serious, the balance changes the moment you go silent. And here's why that matters. In most situations, especially early on, women are the ones being pursued. Guys are usually the ones putting in more effort, sending messages first, trying to keep the connection going. That gives her a certain level of control. She's used to setting the pace, deciding how much she wants to give back, and knowing that you'll likely be there waiting on her next move. But when you suddenly stop talking, that pattern breaks. You're no longer following her lead. You've taken a step back, and that simple shift changes the whole dynamic. Now she's not sure what's going on. She's not sure if you're losing interest, moving on, or just doing your own thing. That uncertainty puts her in a different position. Whether she realizes it or not, she starts reacting to your move. Up to that point, you may have been reacting to her. When she replied, how often she messaged, the tone she used, but now she's responding to you. And that flips the balance. This doesn't mean you're trying to play games or manipulate the situation. It's not about trying to get control. It's just the natural result of changing your behavior. When you stop putting in effort, the energy of the interaction shifts. She either leans in to figure out what happened, or she pulls back. Either way, she's now responding to you, not the other way around. That shift can be powerful if you understand what it means. It gives you space to actually see how she feels about the connection. Does she care that you're not talking? Does she make an effort to check in? Or does she just move on like nothing happened? Her response during this power shift tells you a lot. What's important is not to misuse it. This isn't about ignoring someone just to get a reaction. It's about recognizing that silence creates space. And in that space, real intentions start to show. You don't need to overthink it or try to force anything. Just let the shift happen and watch what comes next. When the roles change, people reveal more of their real selves. You've stopped talking. Now she decides how she wants to respond. That's where the truth usually starts to come out. And that's where you start to see the situation more clearly.